cockpit. My name's Ryan, and I'll be your pilot tonight. Boys and girls, we got a lot to talk about. We've got Trevor Lawrence, we've got the draft, we've got this terrible loss, 40-3. Jamal, plays against us. But to start things off, I got a question of the day. Question of the day is going to be located in the pinned comment on the live chat, as well as in the description and in the comment section down below. So if you guys would like to get in on that, the poll question of the day is, which free agent do you want the Jets to retain? So make sure you do that. Make sure you vote on that. I'll get you guys in on the questions at the end of the day. I'll let you know who is winning in that regard. I have a hunch of who it's going to be. But we are going to have to talk about some of our Jets. Ooh, too loud on the music. All right, I'll go a little bit lower. Sorry. Bam! Bam! Turn the music off. All right. So for the question of the day, like I said, it's going to be, which of these free agents do you want the Jets to retain? You can click on that in the pinned comment, as well as down, pinned comment in the live chat, pinned comment down in the description, as well as the description down below. So if you want to vote for that, I thoroughly encourage you to do that. I will read off the results at the end of the stream. And then it also gets you a shot to win some Amazon gift cards. So kind of a little cool thing that Sided is doing over there. In terms of our raffle, I haven't done a giveaway in a little bit. So let's do a giveaway. I made a new shirt. If you guys saw the SNL skit from the other day, where the Jets are world champs, 16, 17, 18, Sports Max, all that good stuff. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to give that away for you guys. So make sure you stay tuned to that. All you have to do is join the Flick chat, and then if you do that, get yourself entered to win a shirt. All right, so let's talk a little bit about how we're going to do this. Call-in show. Sorry. So call-in show. I'm going to do my little monologue till about 8:30, and then we're going to go to the phone calls at about 8:30. I'll list the number right here at the bottom of the screen. So once that comes up, you guys get the green light to call and ask me all sorts of questions. How's it going, guys? Matt Curtis, my dude. I think we just got, I believe we did, NY Jets 24. Thank you so much for becoming a member of the Jets Talk 24 channel. It really does mean a lot to me. Every little bit helps. Eventually, I'd like to do this full time. So hopefully, thank you for supporting that. It definitely means a lot to me. Now, let's get into some of my thoughts on the day for yesterday's game. So if you guys saw my post game, if you guys saw my, my top 5 takeaways, pretty simple. We got blown out. We just did not show up to play. You can see the stats ticking around on the side over here. No one showed up to play. Sam Darnold looked bad. He had 3 almost interceptions. I know they don't count as interceptions, but in terms of my grading how he performed yesterday, very, very much, very bad. It's not good. When I'm grading him on what he did yesterday, it did not look good. Now, Seattle's a legit team. Seattle's got a ton of talent across that team. DK Metcalf is insane. The interception by Marcus May, who is on the poll question of the day. So if you guys want to vote for Marcus May, make sure you vote on that poll question. It's pinned in the comment section. So Marcus May gets an insane interception. Castillo misses 3 field goals. We have since cut him. We have brought in, was it McLaughlin? Is that who it is? Who cares? I wish we had kept Castillo. 3 more games. We figure it out afterwards. It was rough yesterday. Did not look good. Jamal Adams, I know I got a little bit of hate from some people because I'm still salty. I promise it's only going to be for this one game, and then I'll kind of let it go. But Jamal Adams breaks the sack record with like such a ridiculous sack. I know it counts as a sack because he technically forced Sam-ish out of bounds. I wish he would have at least had a hand on him when he pushed him out of bounds. It wasn't just like, I'm going to run past you and Sam's going to run around me, but I'm going to go out of bounds and that's a sack. Gets me mad. Matt Curtis says, it's bad when they bring in Geno Smith. Ugh. Talk about getting hit in the jaw, right? Jets get hit in the jaw, but Seahawks, after they put in a quarterback who was hit in the jaw in our own locker room. We had 7 straight weeks of scoring on the opening possession. That is very anticlimactic. I don't understand, how we could be so good for the initial scripted play and then just be so god awful for the entire duration of the rest of the game. Doesn't check out. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't pass the sniff test. In my 2 years of watching Adam Gase's offense, I can say he has some pretty good play designs. He really does. There are some interesting concepts and whatnot. I think his play calling is terrible. The designs of the plays themselves are all right. But like running Frank Gore up the middle or running to the right side of the line when you're having success on the left side of the line. Now, yesterday we didn't have quite the success that we had against the Raiders on the left side of the line. But to just go away from it just doesn't really, didn't jive well with me. Everyone's saying 3 more games. 3 more games, boys and girls. And then we get to know where we stand draft pick wise. This next week, Jets have the Rams. Jags have the Ravens. I don't see either of our teams winning that. Next week, week 16, is going to be a huge week for the Jets. Because Jets playing the Browns. The Browns are a team that should easily handle the Jets. If they're playing to their talent level, they should beat the Jets. Now, will they play to the talent level? Because the Jets, if the Jets play to what their talent level is, they should be losing as well. But I don't know. These 3 games should be losses. I'm worried about that Week 17 game. Week 17 against Bill Belichick and the Patriots. He's not gonna intentionally throw the game. What's gonna happen is they play the Dolphins this week. Cam's gonna lose. It's just gonna happen. Next week they play Buffalo. They're gonna get smoked by Buffalo. You know what happens? They are absolutely going to play Jared Stidham for the last 2 weeks of the season. It's going to happen. I'm telling you, if it's not for the last game, it'll be for the last 2. I think they'll try to protect Cam a little bit. I don't know if I don't think they bring Cam back next year. I got a hunch that Sam Darnold is going to be going to the 49ers. And I think Jimmy G is going to be going back to the Patriots. It's going to be so Belichick can show off that he was right the whole time and that he should have kept Jimmy Garoppolo instead of Tom Brady. Now, they still won, 2 Super Bowls in that time? Or was it 1 Super Bowl and 1 loss, whatever it was? So ultimately, Tom Brady wins out. He's gotten those Super Bowls. Jimmy G did not, even though he was at one. John Nolte says, we have to counter Stidham with Morgan. Yes, if we go into Week 17 with the Jaguars with 1 win and the Patriots are playing Stidham, the Jets better fire Adam Gase and bring in Morgan. There has to be ownership or GM intervention. There is no way I allow Adam Gase to go against a backup quarterback and really give them an opportunity to win. Under no circumstances should the Jets win this last game. Or any of these 3. If we want our Jets to get better, we have to lose these next 3. We're still going to be in good shape. We're getting a top 2 pick. So if you're okay with Fields, then I guess you root for a win. here or there. But at the very least, you should be rooting for no wins, get the first pick, and then trading down a pick if you don't care about Lawrence. But I want Lawrence. Frank Gore for starting quarterback week 17 says a 914 crypto. Oh, God. That would be fantastic. Caden Smith. Ryan, have you looked at Packers offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett as a potential head coach? I've heard some buzz about him moving up for head coaching job. I have not. I'll be honest, I did preliminary research when I did my mock off season, and when I get to this time of year, and I'm finally done with work, so I can put a little more energy into the Jets stuff. I'm going to start breaking guys down one by one, so I can definitely look into him. I think the next coach I'm probably going to look at, if it's not Joe Brady, it's probably going to be Arthur Smith. So I've done Harbaugh, I've done Cowher, I did Brian Daboll today, which if you guys want to talk about Brian Daboll, this guy, I know he's not like super high on people's radars because he's not the huge name that you're used to seeing from like a Cowher or a Harbaugh or something of that nature. But he's good. Dude's got 5 Super Bowl rings with the Patriots. He's got another ring with Alabama. National championship. Those are absolutely, huge organizations to be a part of. And not even just that. It's not like he was like, I don't want to say like McDaniels, but it's not like he's, Charlie Weiss or Matt Patricia, where they've grown up in the Patriots dynasty and then went on to coach and then just sort of fell apart. Brian Daboll was with the Patriots. Then he left. He came with Mangini to the Jets. He goes to Cleveland, follows Mangini there. Then I believe he went to Miami after that. He goes to Miami for a season under Coach Sparano, former Jet offensive coordinator. Then he goes to Kansas City under Romeo Crennel. And then he spends a year there. They wind up having a horrible year. They get the first overall pick? Is that what it was? I think they earned the first overall pick that year. They were really bad. I think they had 1 or 2 wins. It was not good. So it's interesting to kind of see. And then he comes back. He winds up going to Alabama for a year. And then he comes back as the Bills offensive coordinator. And when I'm looking at Brian Daboll and what he's done with Josh Allen, I am so infuriated. The support and the competence of the Bills organization to surround Josh Allen with talent, both on a coaching staff level and on a player level, I'm so jealous. I'm genuinely jealous. I really do believe that the Jets ruined Sam Darnold, and he could have had a career similar to maybe not similar to Josh Allen, but similar to a successful play at quarterback. We didn't give him a fair shake. So, when I look at Brian Daboll and I see Josh Allen has gotten better every single year under him, the offense has gotten significantly better every single year under him. And I look at Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is a little mobile. He doesn't have the arm that Allen has, but I think he can definitely work with him, for sure. And he feels like, I know I've been harping on the idea of a CEO, head coach, or a guy that can delegate responsibilities. So that way we have some guy that can handle the offense, some guy that can handle the defense, some guy that can handle special teams, and then you have your head coach that sort of oversees everything, because Adam Gase just oversees the offense and he just has nothing to look at. I see you guys asking about when does the call-in start. Call-ins are going to start at 8:30. I'll get your guys' opinions. I'm just going to do my little monologue for right now, and then I'll get your guys' thoughts. It looks like we got a comment. V-Man, my brother. What's up, dude? He says, Jets on the verge of landing a generational talent. The Jets' old training field in Peekskill, New York, being restored for football use, coincidence. I'm excited. I want the generational talent, Vinny. Of course I do. That is, this whole season, ever since about like week 5, probably. Maybe a little earlier than week 5. Week 5, I think, was my turning point. I was like, actually, do I even have that right? I could be wrong on my weeks. It was early in the season. I was like, all right, I'm done. I want Trevor Lawrence now. I was hoping to roll with Sam for a while, and it just did not work out, unfortunately. So we have a whole bunch of things to talk about. We can talk about the head coaching search. We can talk about Sam. We can talk about free agency. We can talk about the draft. I want to get your thoughts and questions. John Post says, hi, Ryan. It was great to see you show up for Green Bean's birthday yesterday. Keep up the great work. Thank you, John. I like doing the halftime show with Green Bean. The last few weeks I wasn't able to do it because I was working at a tree farm. But now I am done, so I can do the halftime shows again. And actually, Green Bean's birthday is technically tomorrow. So the Talking Jets panel, I'm going to be kind of ripping on him a little bit throughout the show. So make sure you guys tune into that. If you guys are just tuning in, don't forget to drop a like on this video. It helps out the channel, and it shows other people that they should tune into the stream after the fact. And if you want to get entered to win a hat, shirt, or mug, if you want one of those Jets World Champion shirts from SNL, all you have to do is join the Flick chat. It's down below in the description down below. And if you want to answer the question of the day is, which of our free agents would you like to see us retain? That is pinned in the live chat, the question up there, as well as in the description down below. So take a look at that. Look at some of your comment questions through here. Before we jump to the phone calls. NY Jets 24, the newest member of the Jets Talk 24/7 family. I do not want Fields. When was the last time that Ohio State quarterback made it in the NFL? The fear with Justin Fields is because Haskins is so recent and Haskins is so bad. They are not the same quarterback at all. You can look at a lot of schools. There's not really a factory for quarterbacks. There's little things you can kind of nitpick. Like I understand that conference has a lot of not so good defenses. So if you want to pick apart that's fine. I think it's basically Trevor Lawrence 1, Justin Fields, a sizable step down, number 2. It's not, it's still better than what we've got. I'd still take him regardless. And then another step down would be Trey Lance. I like Trey Lance a lot. My biggest issue with him is that he's only had 1 year of starting experience other than the showcase game this year. He had no interceptions through his 1 year, and then he had the 1 interception in the showcase game. So not fantastic from him. Andrew says Ryan has a man crush on Juju. That's not true at all. I was very big on Juju if we were going to keep Sam. Now that we're not keeping Sam, Juju does a lot of his work from the slot, and while he's not just a slot receiver by any means, I think there's other routes. Like I would like guys on the outside of the formation to be able to get a little bit of yardage. And to me, Allen Robinson's the cream of the crop. I don't think Godwin's going to shake free. I want to say there's Galladay, Gallup, Curtis Samuel, Corey Davis. There's a bunch of names that are going to be hitting free agency. There's going to be a lot of options. So we'll see. Chiwara. Hey, Ryan, do you think Ty Johnson is a legit running back number 1 option for next season? I do not. I saw Gase's comments today basically saying that Ty Johnson played the way he did against the Raiders because of the opponent we were facing, basically insinuating it was a fluke. That's why we saw so much Frank Gore yesterday. I would say this. Ty Johnson will be a nice option to keep as the 3rd running back. I think P. Ryan should be the 2nd one based on the skill level as well as the draft pick status. And then I think we should probably bring in another number 1 wide receiver. I saw a few guys talking about who's the guy from Green Bay? Adams. What the hell's his first name? God, he's on my fantasy team. Oh, jeez. The running back from Green Bay. Help me out with his name. So he's a free agent at the end of the year. He actually just got a new agent. It sounds like they're probably going to be at Devontae Adams. No, not Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams, the wide receiver. I'm talking running back. I would say there's a good chance he's hitting free agency. I don't want the Jets to go after him. Aaron Jones. Oh, Adams. Whew. Man, AJ. Dude, I am all over the place. Thank God you guys are here. Oh, man. Yeah, no. So, Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is who I'm talking about. He's got a new contract. Not a new contract. He's looking for a new contract. He's going to want to get paid a lot of money. I don't see Green Bay paying him that kind of money. I do think that I don't see the Jets paying that kind of money. I don't know if we're going to go the free agent route. If we do, it's going to be a cheap option. We're going to go running back by committee. I would prefer a draft pick at some point, but we'll see. We'll see. Caden Smith. I live in Buffalo, and Brian Daboll has done wonders for the Bills' offense. I've watched many of their games, and he is smart and has transformed the Bills' offense. That is exactly what I want to hear, because as each day goes on and I watch this Bills team more and more and more, I really like Brian Daboll. I don't know if he's going to be the guy I really want to go with or not at this point. I would say Cowher is still high up on my list. I might go like Cowher, Daboll, Harbaugh. I like Joe Brady still a lot. There's some hurdles with that. I don't know if he's necessarily going to get a head coaching job this year. It may take one more season for him to get that. But we'll see. We'll go through all that. Oh, did I say wide receiver before? Kayvon Harris? Oh, geez, I'm all over the place. Let's see. Roca. Bill Cowher, Matt Campbell, or Eric Bieniemy. Which one do you choose if you are the GM? I'm taking Bill Cowher. I have to do my more research on Matt Campbell. I'm going to do a video on him probably this week. I don't have enough information to make an educated decision on Campbell. I know O'Leary likes Campbell a lot. It sounds like from the little bit I was reading on him, it sounds like Campbell's going to be going to Michigan if Harbaugh's out. I don't know how true that is or not. We'll kind of see. Kenneth says Darnold will be a backup to low-level starter next year, but not with the Jets. Completely agree. NY Jets 24. What are you saying? Let's see with the Florida quarterback does against Bama in the SEC championship game on Saturday. Remember, when Woody returns, he likes the big arm drop back pocket quarterback. Field doesn't fit that mold. He doesn't. Not necessarily. You're talking about Trask, the kid from Florida. We'll see. Hey, this is going to be a season where guys can absolutely rise and fall. If he beats Alabama, I think that's going to put a lot of people on notice, and that's a statement game. I think he could be. I still think Lawrence and Fields are the top two quarterbacks. I don't think anyone's going to break into those top two. I do think Trask could leapfrog Lance, though. I think he's got way more on his resume potentially than just the 1 year from Lance. Now, that being said, I don't want Woody Johnson to have like any say in this quarterback at all. I want Joe Douglas to decide the head coach. I want Douglas to decide the quarterback with the head coach. I do not want ownership to butt in at all. Rob Miller, greetings from Las Vegas. So tough to be a Jets fan. Great channel, Ryan. Thank you, Rob. Means a lot. Definitely means a lot. Where else are we looking on here? Grant says, I want a head coach. Sick of coordinators not knowing how to run the whole team. Give me a head coach from college. That's fair. I'm okay with that. My argument with Daboll is he's been around for so long, and McDermott is a defensive-minded head coach that we know the offensive success is based on the talent they have on offense, the play calling they have on offense, and Brian Daboll. So he is absolutely, I think, more than just the offensive coordinator. He was a defensive assistant back with the Patriots when he first started, I think for like a year. So he's at least got some familiarity around the whole area. What else we got? Jets take flight says Ian from Jets Central wants Campbell. Yeah, I think I did hear that. I don't watch all his videos, but he seems to know his stuff. So I could definitely support that. I wouldn't be upset with it. If the guy's turning down positions in the NFL on a regular basis, that tells me he doesn't necessarily want to be in the NFL, or the right opportunity hasn't opened up to him yet. That's certainly possible. So we'll see. We'll see if that actually winds up happening. Kenneth, Ryan, if Gase stays, will you still be a Jets fan? Listen, I'm pot committed. I am stuck on this wagon for a long time. A long, long time. I am not getting off of it. I'll be depressed as all hell if Adam Gase is still here next year, and you're going to see me, maybe throw my computer out a window. But I will be here. I'll be here. I'll be making content for you guys. But man, it is a kick in the balls. I do not. At least we have Adam Gase in a season we can't go to games like that. Like if there was 1 year to be like putrid and terrible, it's absolutely this year. Guys, we got 104 people in here. If you want to drop a like on the video to let people that tune in that they should like this video, should want to hang out, drop a like. If you want to get in on our question of the day, the question of the day is going to be, which of our free agents do you want to bring back next year? That is pinned in the comment section as well as the live chat. So make sure you check that out. And then if you want to get one of the shirts, it could be a Just End the Suffering shirt. It could be a, Jets World Champion SNL shirt. All you have to do is join the Flick chat. That link is in the description down below as well. And, we got another super chat. John Nolte, thank you so much for the super chat. What a kind fella. He says, great channel, Ryan. Living in Florida now, it keeps me updated with all things Jets. Oh, you're welcome. That makes me feel good. I like when we get people. Don't get me wrong. I love the people in the tri-state area, but it's cool when I see people from like Florida and Kansas. And I had one guy from Japan, and I think I had one from Brazil one time reach out to me. So it's really cool to see. When I started this channel, it was just me ranting at a camera. So I was like, I'll show you my good ideas. But it's kind of nice to see that you guys do enjoy it. So it means a lot. Thank you, John. All right, let's go to the phones. I'm going to populate that. All right, I got to move my little phone number because clearly I did not set this up properly. Okay, phone number's right there. Give me 2 seconds and I'll get the actual Google Voice up because that's the other part of this equation that I don't have going right now. All right. If you guys have not had a Kalo before, I highly, highly, highly recommend. Big fan of the Kalo. Hemp Infused CBD Seltzer.
Call from
Peter.
Hey, Peter. What's up, brother? How you doing tonight?
Ryan, man. It's been a long time, my brother.
It's been a long, long time. What's on your mind?
Well, man, had to call, do some jet chat with you because I can't remember the last time I had one with you. But, yeah, it hurts to see our team falling down like that. But you know what? The future is looking bright for us.
I hope so. It's the perspective future. Like, this draft class looks pretty good. We got Becton, you got Mims. Davis has been flying around. The punter looks pretty good. Bryce Hall's been pretty decent for where we got him. And the injury he's had to come back from.
I got to give credit to Bryce Hall. He's doing his thing.
Yeah.
And I believe if he stays healthy, he could be a true number one corner.
I hope so. That would be really cool. If you can get even a number 2 cornerback between him and, Bless Austin, that would be fantastic. If one of those two can turn into a number 2 corner and then you can add, a number 1, whether it be in free agency or the draft, I think that would be absolutely huge. What'd you think of the game yesterday?
Honestly, I only watched the first half of it because over here in Maryland, they wasn't really showing the game, but I saw the highlights and all that, and I just don't know what to say about it, to be honest with you. Just heartbreaking.
Dude, we stink. There's no two ways around it. It's just,
This is
we are
basically the
bad.
worst Jet team. This is basically the worst Jet team that any of us has ever been alive to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because like I expect this team to be bad because this is like a clear planned tank. Like I feel like I shouldn't say planned because we didn't plan to be as bad as we were at the very beginning of the season. But once we saw what was happening, it's like, okay, let's just dismantle the team. Let's sell off all the parts. You get rid of Avery Williamson. You get rid of Le'Veon Bell. McClendon's gone. You trade away some of the lesser assets. Jamal gets shipped off. And then once Jamal got shipped off, then I was starting to think like, okay, I don't know what we're looking at for a season. And then I didn't think we would get first overall pick, potentially.
Yeah, but you know what, Ryan? At least we're getting rid of him. We got a lot back in return.
Yeah, I love it. I'm very happy with the return we got for Jamal. It sounds like, at least from the comments that I saw below the 5 topics or 5 takeaway video that I did yesterday, it seems like Seattle fans were a little upset at me for my stance on Jamal. And I still think that there's a really good shot that he's probably not getting re-signed by the Seahawks. I think he's going to have to wait at least 2 years, so this year plus 1 more year to get his big money. And he may even get franchise tag. Like, by him shooting his way out of New York, I think he cost himself millions and millions of dollars.
Listen, man, if Seattle decides to franchise tag the dude, trust me, the same attitude he had in New York is the same attitude he's going to have with them if he gets franchise tagged.
Yeah, look, I can absolutely see that happening because Jamal is a team leader when he wants to be. Like, he's a very big rah-rah guy. The announcers love him. I think it was it Lane Cactus or T-Jazz? One of the guys that posts all the on Instagram, I follow him, and they're just like, oh, man, every time the Jamal Adams breathes, the announcers are like, oh, you're so good. Let's bow down. Like, I get it. The guy flies around. He's exciting, but we don't need to put him on a pedestal.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you know what I wanted to ask you, Ryan?
Yeah, shoot.
We already know what we're going to get with our first pick if we remain number 1. But with the second first-round pick, what position will you grab in the draft?
If I'm looking – so a lot of that's going to depend on free agency and what happens there. So if I'm looking kind of ahead to free agency, I'm looking at guard. I very much want Tooney or Sheriff or one of the guards that's going to be hitting free agency. I don't want to go into the draft depending on a rookie to be our starter.
If there's one guard I would want us to draft, it's the dude from Ohio, Wyatt Davis.
Yeah, a lot of people like him. The issue that I have with that is you hope that he's there at that point. Like, if you're banking on your starter being Wyatt Davis and you have to get him at pick 25 or whatever, if he goes at pick 23, you don't have an option anymore. You just got to left out to dry. So I would like to address guard, wide receiver in free agency because those are the biggest kind of veins. I would love to get an edge rusher,
Anybody
too.
you had in mind? Anybody you had in mind for free agency coming up?
I like Robinson. I like Tooney. Edge-wise, I like Dupree before the knee injury. Now I'm not so sure. I'm not huge on Judon. There's a lot of interesting names. I don't know which one's Shake 3. Like, I like Shaq Barrett. I don't think it's happening, though. Dude, thank you so much for calling in.
You're
out of here! Ejected from the cockpit. Oh, that chicken. Guys, if you want to get your shot to win a shirt or a hat, click on the link in the description down below. That's going to be for the Flick Chat. All you have to do is join that, and I'll raffle that off at the end of the night. And then if you want to answer our question of the day in the pinned comment section, which of our free agents do you want us to retain for next year?
Call from
Go vote on that.
Luke.
Luke, what's good, brother? How you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm trying to hang in there. Every week is just like, I feel like I get a little more tense. Like, at least yesterday, I didn't have to worry about possibly winning, like, the Raider game. But, like, these next 3 weeks, it's, like, super on edge. I just want it to be over. I'm done with these 3 games. I'm done with 2020. I just want it to be done.
Yeah.
What's on your mind?
Do you think there's any chance Douglas is gone after the year?
I would be very upset. I don't think so. I think because they gave him a 6-year contract, they're going to allow him the opportunity to draft, or not draft, but to bring in his own head coach and his own quarterback too. I don't think they're going to stick him with Sam and stick him with Gase. Not necessarily stick him with Gase because he accepted the job with Gase here, but like I think they understand what Joe Douglas is and how he's kind of operated. If they let go of Joe Douglas, I'm going to be pretty upset.
All right. Do you think if we don't extend Marcus May, do you think we consider putting the franchise tag on him?
You know what? I don't know. I hadn't really considered the franchise tag. I think it's going to be. I'll pull up what the franchise tag is going to cost this year, just for shits and giggles. I don't know. I wouldn't have thought that would be the option because the franchise tag is, I would think, 12 to 13 million, somewhere in that ballpark, for a safety. But let me pull it up. We'll go over it at the same time, so that way we all kind of know. All right, so Marcus May, gonna slap him with the franchise tag. According to Over the Cap, it's only $10.9 million. I would do that. I think May's worth $10 million. So for an extra one, given the amount of money we have, you retain him. I'm okay with that. I wouldn't have thought it was that low.
All right, so if we extend him, what do you think the deal would look like?
I would think somewhere in the $10 million a year range, 10 to 12. Most likely. I think Buda Baker got a huge deal. I think he's getting $15 million a year. So maybe May tries to go for something like that. If we can't sign him to a relatively reasonable contract, I could see the franchise tag on him. He would be the one I'd use it on because the corner market is just so high. I wouldn't use that on Brian Poole. I do want him back, but there's no one else we'd really use a franchise tag on. I don't think there's any other players we're losing other than Marcus May that might be sort of in that discussion.
All right, so for the wide receiver position, I say we go after like a bigger name in free agency and then draft like a mid-round receiver instead of going like the first round because we have Mims, who's a younger guy, and to me, I would go after Allen Robinson because Godwin has some injury concerns. Robinson has had terrible quarterback play and still been like a top 10 to 12 receiver.
I completely agree. I very much want Robinson. He's my, aside from Tooney coming from the Patriots, he's my number one option in free agency. I don't want to, not that I don't want to roll the dice on a rookie wide receiver, but I think having a high price wide receiver right now while you have Mims on a rookie deal is okay, because then when you're done with Robinson, then you start paying Mims and then you draft another receiver and you just kind of keep going like that. So you have one high paid guy kind of the whole time is how I'd sort of look at that. There's going to be other options, I think, and what scares me with Robinson is I don't know if Joe Douglas is going to open up the piggy bank for a wide receiver when there's so many options at wide receiver and when there's so many, like not just in free agency but in the draft as well. In my mock off season, I had the Jets taking Devontae Smith from Alabama with that Seattle pick. I don't think he's going to make it that far. But I could see him maybe targeting a wide receiver with the 33rd overall pick or 34th, whatever we actually end up with. I don't know. Is there any other receivers you're kind of looking at in the event we don't get Robinson?
I think Curtis Samuel's a free agent from Carolina. If we bring in Joe Brady, I think he would be a good addition.
Yeah, I completely agree. That would be an interesting hire. I don't know. I don't know if they go the route of the totally new coordinator because Joe Brady's young. He's only 31, I believe, 32 at max. And then he's got the year at LSU last year, this year as the OC, last year as the passing game coordinator for LSU, and then he was under Sean Payton for 2 years in New Orleans. I don't know if he's got enough experience for guys to pull the trigger on him just yet, but we'll see. Thank you so much for calling in. You're out of here! So guys, make sure you answer the question of the day. Question of the day: which of our free agents would you like us to retain? Click on the pinned comment to answer that question. And if you want your shot to win a hat, shirt, or mug at the end of the stream, all you have to do is click on the Flick chat down below in the description. All right. Next caller on the line.
Call from
Eli.
Eli, what's good, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you, Ryan?
Talk to me. Tell me what's on your mind.
Well, I think I got the Aaron Jones situation covered. So apparently he fired his agent, right? So I DM'd him, right? I could be your agent, right? Okay. So, I become his agent. I make him sign with the Jets.
Oh.
4 years, $1 million a year. Boom, you have Aaron Jones.
That seems like that is the perfect outcome for this right now. I like him a lot. He's one of my favorite running backs in the league, and I think if he had a rock solid line, I mean we don't have a rock solid line right now, but I think he's the type of running back that you could just like bell cow and just let him go. I don't think Douglas spends that kind of money on a running back after what happened with Le'Veon Bell, though.
Yeah, I'm going to say not again. I mean, I like him, but I don't want to spend money on a running back. It's just you need a good O-line. Like the Packers have a good line. If you have a really good O-line, then I think any running back will be decent for you. I mean, if you have the Colts O-line, look at Jonathan Taylor. I think if you have just a mid-round pick as running back, even P. Ryan, I think he can get you 4 yards a carry. That's all you need if you have a strong passing game, especially in today's NFL. You don't really need that workhorse running back.
Yeah, I agree. I think running back by committee is the best way to do it. It's the cheapest way to do it, and it protects you in the event your star running back goes down. Like, it sucks when you lose like a Zeke, and then you have to rely on a backup. Like, if you have guys that are all sort of like okay, or average to above average, and it's your offensive line that's really good, well, now you have 5 guys on your offensive line that you're depending on as opposed to one running back. So I completely agree with you.
Yeah, and I also wanted to ask you about the shirt thing. I don't understand
Sure.
the 3P. I haven't been a Jets fan that long. I mean, I really...
It's not actually like they did a skit on SNL, and basically they're making fun of kind of the election, because a lot of people left watching Fox News and switched to Newsmax. So SNL did a skit called Sports Max, where it's kind of a little more, I don't know. They don't necessarily tell the truth the whole time. So they're saying, the Jets are 12-0 right now. I don't know what you're talking about. You're telling me the Jets didn't lose or didn't win 92-0 last week against the Dolphins? Like, you got to be kidding me. So they're going on, and the guy's wearing the shirt that says 3-peat 16, 17, 18. It literally means nothing. It's just a purely goofy shirt.
Well, because my friend sent me the skin, and I'm like, okay, I get it. And then I see this, and I'm like, wait, did they get this from mine? And they're like, oh, he did it. And then I'm like, wait, what does it mean?
No, yeah, it's not my shirt at all. That's an SNL skit. And then I saw it, and I was like, you know what? I think a few Jet fans may want that shirt. So I ordered one for myself, so it should be coming in the next week or so.
I also want to talk about Thuney for a minute, because I know you're really high on Thuney, and a lot of people are really high on Thuney. Personally, I don't really want Thuney. I mean, yes, he's very healthy. He doesn't commit penalties, but I don't want to do another Belichick guy. All these guys, what's the Lions' edge? I don't remember what it is. I remember he played well in New England. Second he left for a big contract, big free agent, and he sucks with the Lions. All these big free agents that come from the Patriots, they always stink after they leave the Patriots. Listen, will he continue being healthy if he comes to Jets? Probably. Will he continue to not cause penalties? Probably. Will he necessarily keep his high level of play? Not necessarily.
Yeah, hey, that's fair. I think there's always been a little part of me that believes that the Patriots get the benefit of the doubt on calls, especially with Tom Brady being there and everything. And watching Thuney this year sort of allows me to dissect this from a non-Tom Brady perspective. So maybe it's just a Patriot thing, and I don't know. I think if Thuney hits the open market, there is no way the Jets don't get him. I think Joe Douglas is going to move mountains. He's the best offensive lineman to hit free agency, and I don't even know how long. Like, I think he's that good. I really do. I think we would have opened up the piggy bank for him last season.
What about Brandon Sheriff? Because personally, listen, what is Brandon Sheriff playing with? He's playing with the rest of the O-line is not good, so it's not like it's not like other guys are taking the big names for him. I mean, he has no great coaching over there, and he's still playing at a high level.
I would be okay with him. I think the knock on Sheriff has been a lot of injury concern more than anything else. So for me, I'm very much looking Thuney first, and then I would look at Sheriff. I'm sure there's other guards that are going to be hitting the free agency market that I'll have to take a look at, and I'll start dissecting those in some later videos once we get to the offseason. But Eli, thank you so much for calling in. You've been rejected from the cockpit. If you guys want to listen to Eli's podcast, Eli's got a podcast with his dad. It's Sports Jabber with the Lefties. It's on YouTube. I was watching a little bit of that yesterday. You guys have some pretty good opinions, pretty crisp audio. Very, very impressed with that. Yeah, so we'll see. Guys, if you want to vote on our question of the day, all you have to do is click on the link in the comment section or in the live chat and vote. Which player do you want the Jets to retain in free agency?
Call from
Vinny.
Hey, Vinny, what's up, brother?
Man, it's been forever. I've been trying to get in touch.
Sorry, it's every 5 minutes I get a new call.
Well, what's up?
I'm hanging in there, Just another day, another dollar. Did you watch my Brian Daboll video today?
No, again, I was working at Home Depot, so I couldn't.
Fair enough. You'll have to check that out. Have you had any thoughts on the head coaching situation after we've heard the Bill Cowher rumors and
Like I said, they don't sound like comments from someone who doesn't want to return to coaching. They sound like comments from someone who is waiting for a specific job to be available.
Yeah, it's something that's interesting. When I was doing my research on the Daboll video, when Brian Daboll was in Miami and they were looking to fire Tony Sparano, they were talking about bringing in Cowher, and Cowher said he told Sparano that he wasn't going to interview for the job until it's open. I think he told Sparano. If not, he told someone else. But it was in the Wikipedia page of chose not to interview because position wasn't open yet. So I think part of the reason we're not hearing too much interest right this second is because Adam Gase still has that job.
Yeah, I also just think he's trying to make. I think he's playing 3D chess here with the Johnsons.
Nah, I could see that. He's trying to make them open up their piggy bank.
Yeah, but I'm just waiting for this season to be over. I don't have to worry much because the Rams are going to kill us, the Browns are going to kill us, and I told you about the Patriots the other day.
They should beat us. That team doesn't look good.
No,
That's
here's
what
the
worries
thing.
me. And if they play Stidham,
here's the thing about the Patriots. The days of the Patriots' double-digit wins and trips to the conference championship are over. Mm-hmm. So for Bill, if he wants to get to Shula's 347 all-time career wins mark and pass it, he's going to need to win every game he can. He can't afford to throw a game because he maybe has 4 or 5 years coaching left at best.
Yeah, I mean, so he's got. I think he needs 4 years of 10, 12 wins.
He's at 308 and the total 347, so he needs to win 40 more games.
So figure 4 years of 10 wins is basically what you're sort of looking at there.
Yeah, and that's not a lock with this Patriots. With the way the Patriots are trending, they're going to be lucky to get over 500.
Yeah, especially so. What's more beneficial to Belichick's long-term stability, or not stability, but his long-term goal of getting those wins? Is it to have Trevor Lawrence in the AFC East and win that one game this year, or is it better for him to possibly win 2 games a year and lose this one game at the end of the season? That's the interesting question I have.
The thing is, I think the biggest Bill Belichick's biggest weakness is his ego, and I think I think when his ego takes over, it's it surpasses all his logic and wisdom.
Hey, I hope his ego kind of forces him to make knee-jerk reactions. I think what's going to happen is I think the Jets are going to trade Sam Darnold to San Francisco and Kyle Shanahan, and then I think...
Yeah, no, I heard that, yeah. But yeah,
I think Jimmy G's going back to New England.
Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting what they do because, like I said, I just think he has to win every game because I don't think he can afford. I think because if you're losing 2 games to the Jets every year, but you're winning, like I said, Robert Kraft will give him every opportunity to break the mark, but there's only so much the fans will take up there.
I think Bill Belichick has earned the right to not get fired and leave on his own terms. The amount of money he's made the Kraft family and championships he's won the Patriots, I don't care if he goes 0-16 3 years in a row. I think he's earned the right to at least sort of sit and decide when he wants to retire.
Yeah, maybe, but now I finally got you. I can finally explain to you that T-shirt concept I sent you.
Nah, go for it. We talked about it a little bit last week, I think.
All right, yeah. So like I said, because I chose that area because it's actually in Tribeca, because the whole Broadway Joe nickname came from the Sports Illustrated article with him in front of Broadway. So I thought if you do the same thing with Trevor Lawrence, actually that's not a subway, that's actually a part of the building that connects the two together.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
And so I had the idea of him walking down the street, helmet in one hand, football in the other, and like his long hair just flowing in the background. You just see the.
I love it, Vinny. I love it. Thank you so much for calling in. You've been ejected from the cockpit. This is your captain speaking. If you'd like to do the question of the day, it is pinned in the comment section and the live chat. So head over there. Who do you want to return of our free agents? Welcome to the cockpit. How you doing tonight?
Hey, Ryan. How you doing? It's Joe.
Joe. How you doing? What'd you think of yesterday's game?
Terrible. But, I expected them to lose. I didn't think it was going to be a blowout like that. I thought from last week's game, playing against the Raiders, that they would have played a little better. But,
I think what happened...
surprise me.
Yeah, I think what happened yesterday was just the buildup of everything that's happened this season, and what happened to them last week against the Raiders. I think it broke their spirits, and I think they are back, and they are totally done. I think Gase has lost the locker room. I think that I think they're laying down for the rest of the season. I think they're all kind of in self-preservation mode at this point.
I mean, at this point, I'm not going to lie, man. We might as well go in for the tank. I mean, if we have a chance to get a generational quarterback like Trevor Lawrence, then we're going to have to do what we have to do. I mean, that's it. I just want to say something about your video on Brian Daboll from the Bills.
Sure.
I don't know. I think he's the type of guy that, if he does become a head coach in the league, I think he's going to have a team around him that's a little more successful than, like, let's say, the Jets, who need really a lot of work, and they have to, build from the ground up. I don't think he's the type of coach to me, even though he's from winning traditions, like you said, New England and Alabama. Mm-hmm. But I think he needs to be successful with a team that has a little more experience. I don't think he's the guy that could build a team from the ground up, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. I think the Jets needed more of an experienced coach, like I told you a little while ago, like somebody like a Tony Dungy. I think would fit, the narrative a little better with the Jets, who's had success with quarterbacks such as Peyton Manning and so forth. What do you think about that?
I would love to get the legitimate head coach. So, like, Bill Cowher is so high on my list right now. It's like Bill Cowher is number one, and then a few rungs down would probably be like Harbaugh and Daboll. Those would be like the next two guys on my list right now, because I haven't done enough digging into everything. Like I know how I feel about Joe Brady and the excitement there. I just don't think. I think he's too young right now. I don't think the Jets go that route. I mean, who knows? We'll see. There's a few other guys. I would like someone who's been a head coach before. The only other person that I think is sort of in the Daboll-esque, I don't want to say stratosphere, but the wheelhouse would be Greg Roman, and I'm not huge on Greg Roman anymore. I was high on him at the beginning of the season.
I'm not crazy about that guy.
Yeah, for me, I think the Greg Roman connection is more about the Joe Douglas Greg Roman connection and how he's sort of been around the league. So I could see them like that. I would not be a fan of that signing at this point. I would love Tony Dungy. I don't think Dungy's coming out. I think you're going to have to pay a ton of money for Cowher, and I think Gruden set the bar. If you give Cowher 4 years, $48 million, $12 million a year, that beats Gruden by $2 million a year. I think you might be able to get him for that.
Yeah. So what do you think? You think we should pay Marcus May about, I guess, maybe $10 million a year to keep him?
I would like to. I had another caller just before that said, "Would we franchise tag him?" I hadn't even thought of it because I was thinking that franchise tag was going to be in like the $15 million range, but it's only about $11 million. I would franchise tag him if we can't work out a deal.
I agree.
I think that's the way to do it. We don't have many players that are worth franchise tagging. May is one of those guys that I think should be around. I think he's a team leader. I think what he did last week by calling out Greg Williams, while it's not, great to have, I think him supporting the rest of the guys on the team, I think that was kind of a good move.
Mm-hmm. I really like Bieniemy from Kansas City, but I don't think the Jets got any chance of getting him.
I don't know. I'm excited. Maybe I should do my next video on him because he's a popular name. I don't know how I feel about Bieniemy. I don't know how much he's called the plays. I don't know how much of the success is Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes.
Why, you think it's Kafka?
I like Kafka a lot. If I could bring in an OC, Kafka's the guy I'm looking at. It's too early for him to be a head coach, but I like him. Not that I don't necessarily dislike Bieniemy.
That's it! You're out of here!
You're out of here! All right, guys. Question of the day. Which of our free agents would you like to see us retain? That is pinned in the comment section as well as in the live chat. So if you want to click on that and vote, which of our free agents would you like to see the Jets retain? And also join the Flick chat down below in the description. If you join Flick, I will raffle off a shirt, hat, or mug at the end of the show.
Call from
Steven.
Steven, what's good, brother? How you doing tonight?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm trying to hang in there. What's on your mind?
Hey, well, I think I'm doing real good. I just think all my years being a Jet fan, been a season ticket holder for 10 years prior to the Jets got to get a running game and they got to get the offensive line. You look at the history of the Jets, they made all the playoffs when they had great running backs. Emerson, Boozer, Freeman McNeil, Curtis Martin, ground and pound. I mean, that's where they got to go. I mean, my question to you is, if the Jets do land Trevor, you build around them before you start him. You let him sit for almost a year, for 3/4 of a year. Build around him with these multiple picks. I think that's what the Jets have to do because they never got a quarterback. They never built a quarterback around somebody these last 10 years. I think they have to go with different philosophy because they've never really done that prior, and I think that's where success has to be. I'd love to see Cowher, but I don't know. I think they're going to go younger college guy, in my opinion.
Man, I don't know. I think if you draft Trevor, it's going to be really hard not to start him week 1. I think there's going to be a lot of media pressure. I think there's going to be a lot of pressure from ownership to kind of turn this around. Because if you could say, "Hey, we're going to start Trevor Lawrence," now all of a sudden you're selling a bunch of tickets, you'll get a bunch of jerseys anyway from it, but.
Yeah, I called WFAN. I talked to Carton and the other gentleman there, and I asked the same question, and they said similar to what you said. But look at Joe Burrow. He's hurt. Yeah, Hoover from San Diego. I mean, he's what, 4 and something. I know their coach is not that good, but I just think they got to get pieces around them, and I just think let him sit, learn him a year for a little while. Ain't gonna hurt, but.
Yeah, so the issue, I guess that there's not so much an issue because you saw it happen with Patrick Mahomes and it worked out well for him. So I'm not against that. I just think there's going to be a lot of pressure. If they can somehow, just say, hey, look, it's a redshirt year for Trevor. He's not playing. I don't care what happens. We're going to deactivate him. He's just going to sit on the sidelines. He's not going to – there is no situation where he comes in. I just don't know what quarterback are you bringing in? Are you playing Morgan? Just to kind of see what he's got? Are you bringing in a veteran? Who's that veteran? To me, it feels like if you're drafting Trevor number 1 or Fields number 2, I think either one of those guys, if they are the best quarterback going through preseason, I think they are going to start.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm not sold on Fields, and I don't think he's the answer. But we'll see what happens. Not the answer.
Yeah.
Is Ohio State playing the Big Ten game?
I think they are. I think we're going to see one more game with Fields, if I'm not mistaken. Let me pull it up real quick. I know they're not playing Michigan.
Right. They're not playing.
I think I looked at. Did I look it up the other day? Yeah, so they're playing Northwestern on Saturday, 12 p.m. I would say I'm going to be watching that one for sure. That's going to be a big game.
Yeah. You said it before. I just joined your channel today. I'm Jet 24, and I'm excited.
Oh.
But I really think that Belichick's going to try to slip something. But again, I just see Jacksonville is going to start Minshew. He's not going to be there. Okay, he's not going to be there next year. He has to prove something. Watch the upset against Chicago. I'm telling you, it could be an upset with Chicago.
I hope so.
Trubisky.
I would
look
love
for that game.
I would love nothing more than for the Jets to lose 2 games in a row. The Jaguars win against the Bears, and then we can go into the final week of the season really gunning for a win. Like that would just warm my heart so much, knowing we lock in number 1. And I think there's a shot that the Jags beat the Bears. It's not a huge shot, but it's definitely the biggest shot we have of them getting a win for sure.
Yeah, I agree, man. Hey, great stuff, man. I'm definitely going to be I'm hooked up now, man. So it'll be a great off season.
Dude, thank you so much for joining the channel. It really does mean a lot to me.
Thank you, buddy. Good luck. Have a good holiday.
Take it easy. You as well. Oh, that was good. You're going to get a chicken.
Listen, you're out of here!
Been ejected from the cockpit. All right. New caller on the line.
Call from.
Hey, from North Carolina.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail.
Hey, what's good, brother? How you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing good. I figured out how to call you.
Oh, yeah?
Get through. Wait till about number. 55 seconds left in that ticker, because that's how much delay there is.
So that it's weird on my end. I think it looks like the delay is. Oh wow! Holy smokes, that's a long delay today. So it's at least 30 seconds on today's. Normally it's like 10 seconds. It's not usually as long as that. But yeah, no, I'm glad you got through. What's on your mind?
Well, I mean, we've been talking about this Trevor Lawrence thing, and you know my feelings on it. I kind of would like to trade out. I mean, I was listening to Green Bean about a week ago, and he did this scenario where if the Jets traded out, and I think they wound up getting like over 25 picks with all the double trades and trade ups and trade back. And I think, did Green Bean tell you about that? Did you listen to his show when he did that?
I watched it and I was like, Green Bean, you are out of your mind. There's no way. I mean, look, I could see us trading down. I could see us like, if we were to trade down, we'd probably trade down to 2 and then try to get an extra first-round pick from the Jags. And then if we're okay with Fields, I don't think it's happening. I think we're staying at 1. I think we're taking Trevor if we get the first pick.
I thought if we were to trade down, we would trade down to 4.
That's with Dallas, I think, right?
A lot of you get a lot of because this way Dallas could get Trevor. Mm-hmm. We could sign Dak and get an insane amount of picks, and we still are going to have, like, after we get rid of all. Remember, Joe D did all these 1-year deals.
Yep.
So that means even though right now at this moment we have $80 million in cap space, at the end of the season we could have $120 million in cap space.
Well, so we're going to have,
if he unloads every kind of 1 year. Yeah.
The 1-year contracts. So we're at $80 million after the expiring 1-year contracts are done. So the guy, we could get, I think, close to $100 million if we cut Fant, Crowder.
Oh, is that count? That counts the 1-year deals going?
Correct.
Being up.
That's so
I see.
Deals
I see what you're saying.
End at the end of the season, and then the beginning of like free agency is when that, like, okay, you guys have $80 million and whatever money we have.
Oh, I thought we had $80 million now, and then we had all those deals expiring. All right, that explains a lot more. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
So we're still going to have.
Joe's still going to have a lot of money for free agents.
Yeah, it's so here's going to be the issue. And let me pull up the cap space just so I have it in front of me. So a lot of teams are going to be losing salary cap or are going to have to cut salary cap space. So there's going to be a flood of good players hitting the market next year. Now,
so we're in the catbird seat.
Well, we're looking.
Think of how many good players are going to be available from these other teams that have to cut losses.
Exactly. Now here's the issue that I have. The Colts, the Patriots, the Bengals, the Chargers, the Dolphins, and even, I mean, not so much the Bucks, but the Colts, Patriots, Chargers, Dolphins, those teams in particular have a pretty good amount of cap space. The Chargers don't have a ton of contracts right now, so they're probably going to have to eat up all that just filling up their roster. But the Patriots and the Colts, I feel like, are two teams that are better. Like, if the Patriots didn't have all these opted out players this year, they wouldn't be nearly as bad as they are. So I'm a
They're
little
not
concerned with
bad.
them.
I mean, they're playing with nothing like we are.
Yeah,
they just have better coaching.
Yep, I'm hoping that the new
Belichick
head coach
has
we get,
always been able to take that second-tier player and make him play to his potential.
Yeah, and I'm hoping
where
that
we
with
always
our new
have a
head-
first-tier player that doesn't. Case in point, Herndon. He's a top-flight tight end, and he's been playing like absolute crap.
He's been playing horribly, and I don't know if it's the play calling, if it's just his head's not in the game. He's dropped a ton of passes this year. He wasn't a really high pick. I want to say he was like a fourth-round pick maybe, but you would
My
have
head
liked to have
wouldn't be
seen
in the
more.
game if I had to play for that loser team, though.
That's just it. It's like
He's
so a lot of people
probably
wanna
so
move on.
demoralized and sick of losing that he can't take it anymore.
I think a lot
It's
of people
sad.
want to move on from our tight ends, but I would like to hold on to Griffin and Herndon for another year. They're cheap. See if the new head coach can spark something, because when you're as bad as you are and you lose the players you lost, like when you lose Mosley and you lose Adams, like that's a huge knock off your leadership team right there. So maybe
Right.
Mosley coming back.
I was watching your head coach thing, and I know you've seen my opinion on it. I would love to see if we could go after this guy and see if he'd be available. And I've been touting. I love Ed Orgeron from LSU. I mean, he's been there over 10 years. He won the national championship last year. He was the guy who was responsible for Joe Burrows. I mean, God, if we could get him and Trevor Lawrence went in there, I mean, this guy can coach quarterback. This guy can coach a winning team. He's been successful at LSU for 10 years. I mean, he coached Jamal Adams. I mean, all these players, Fournette, all these players that have come out of that program. Goodness gracious. I think if Ed Orgeron was available, we should absolutely grab him as fast as humanly possible.
I wouldn't be opposed to it because I like the big name college coach. I just don't know if
Well, the thing is, he's a head coach.
Yeah.
He's not a recycled loser NFL head coach. He's not an experimental. I mean, we've done the experiment of taking coordinators and trying to make coaches out of them. The only one that worked out was Rex Ryan.
Yeah.
And Rex Ryan got killed by horrible GMs. That's what killed Rex. Horrible GMs, because the players loved him. And I wish to God, with this Joe Douglas that we got, this godsend of a GM, if there was any way that we could take Rexy back with this GM, I think those guys would click, because they're lunch pail, blue collar guys.
I had someone ask me, would we take Rex Ryan as head coach if you could bring in Tony Elliott, the offensive coordinator from Clemson, because Rex Ryan's son went to Clemson. He's close with the coaching staff down in Clemson. So if Rex is the head coach, you bring in the offensive coordinator, Tony Elliott, and then you bring in Jim Leonard, the former safety that played under Rex, the defensive coordinator from Wisconsin. That would be an interesting situation. And I know Rex loves the Johnsons. I know the Johnsons love Rex. I think they didn't really want to fire him. I think they only had to fire him because the media pressure just got so high. I'm not huge on bringing Rex back because of the target he put on our players' backs, but I'd be lying if I said it wasn't the most exciting time to be a Jets fan.
I mean, would you hate it if he came back?
I would not hate it, but I'm not strongly for it. I'll say that much. Thank you so much for the call, brother. You've been ejected from the cockpit.
You're out of here!
All right. New caller on the line. Who we got?
Call from
Josh.
Josh, what's good, brother? How you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm trying to hang in there. What's on your mind?
Nothing much. So I know the last guy had actually started with this as well, but I was thinking, the Jets have a long and historic history of picking the quote-unquote safe pick, and it's never really worked out. I was like, with Mekhi Becton, it felt like he could have traded up, or you could have just been like, oh, the best player available is Jerry Jeudy. I'll just pick him, and he doesn't work out. I was thinking, with Joe Douglas, who seems like he's being a little bit more aggressive, trading back, still getting Denzel Mims, somehow getting Mekhi Becton. Mekhi Becton looks beautiful. Would you be okay? I mean, I'm not a Justin Fields lover or hater, but I'm thinking more like Zach Wilson, Kyle Trask, even Max Jones. If you traded back a lot of picks, or you did a double trade back or something like that and try to be aggressive, what would you think about that?
Look, there's a part of me that loves the idea of getting a ton of draft picks for our number 1 or number 2 overall pick, whichever one we have. You could possibly talk me out of trading out of number 2. I think Trevor Lawrence for me is the golden goose, and you don't trade that pick when everyone's considering it a franchise changing quarterback, because if you miss on like the draft picks, then you're in a world of hurt. So I would take Trevor. I would be open to trading down from Fields at this point. I don't think it's the right move. I think taking Fields is probably the way to go. But if you trade down to 4 or 5 and you're okay with Trey Lance or Trask or Mac Jones, Zach Wilson, one of those guys, I'm open to listening to it, and I trust Joe Douglas to make the call.
I'm just looking at the last couple draft classes and quarterbacks and things like that. I mean, let's take 2019 out, which Kyler Murray looks like he's truly the best. You're looking at guys like Lamar, at even Josh Allen, who went, later in that top 10. I feel like these last couple of drafts, and I know Trevor Lawrence is different. He feels like he's Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning, that kind of guy. But, if you can feel like Joe Douglas could find the next Josh Allen, I would take Josh Allen and 3 extra draft picks. But I feel like I don't know. I just feel like having that first pick, it's valuable to maybe look at building, because there's so many weaknesses other than just quarterback. I mean,
quarterback for me is a position that you need to get your guy. And if you have the first pick, if your guy is Fields for some reason instead of Trevor, then I think you make that pick at 1. I do think that there's a lot of people that are going to want to trade down, and I completely understand it. I get that Josh Allen was taken at pick 6 or pick 7 or whatever. I think it was pick 7. And I understand that, and I like that. I like the thought process there. The issue I have is more so the dynamic. So the second, we gave up 3 second-round picks on our first-round pick to move up to get Sam. Like, if we had stayed at 6 and waited for whatever quarterback to come down and get us, then we have more assets. If you stay at number 1, you have all the assets. Like, we traded Jamal. We have all these different assets that we were able to acquire. Yeah. So to trade down from a generational type prospect just doesn't feel like the right move for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing you could do on the top is take a quarterback. Those players, I mean, Jamar Chase or Panini Sewell, or if you pronounce it, they all look pretty good. But I feel like, if they're not pursuing quarterback, I just feel like they're doing something wrong, But I just think it's who's the quarterback, But
sure,
when I look at Trevor Lawrence, I'm like, wow, Clemson was not the same without him. But
yeah, I mean, they were very close to being 0-2 without him. Like, the guy's only lost 1 game since high school. He's like 75 or 77-1, I think, is what his record is. And the 1 loss is against the best college passing attack in the national championship game last year. Like, that's insane.
God, I know. He lost to Joe Burrow. It's like, I mean, so many people lost to Joe Burrow in that senior year. But, I also think, what do you think about taking that pick that you got from the Seahawks, let's say it's 25, I don't know, and trading up? What would you think about that? Maybe getting a tackle, a guard, wide receiver, something to that degree. What do you think about that?
Ooh, good stuff. I'm going to eject you right there, but I'll answer that question. I would say if you can trade up from the Seattle pick, I'm not against it at all. I think there's going to be some good talent there. And if you see a guy you like, go up and get him. I'm all right with that. I don't know what it would cost, maybe a 3rd-round pick or something like that, but I'd be pretty happy with that.
Bobby.
Hey, dude, welcome to the cockpit.
How's it going, man?
Not too bad. I'm hanging in there. What's on your mind?
So, unfortunately, I've been a Jets fan long enough to realize that we've blown multiple seasons where we could get that number one. So,
yep.
If we win a game that we're not supposed to win, like the Patriots game, which I'm, terrified of, do we trade
I think that's the one game all Jet fans are looking at and they're like, oh no.
Bill Belichick will, be the Jets killer forever.
Oh yeah,
but
it's just he loves like spoiling us. That's what it is. That's what gives me I think he gets a hard on from like the Jets just fouling up and doing something stupid.
That's nothing. So we know Houston messed up with the DeAndre Hopkins trade. We know that. So Deshaun Watson, I don't think wants to be in Houston. So if we trade the second pick, and Sam Darnold to Houston, I think they would give up Deshaun Watson for Justin Fields.
Holy smokes! I hadn't thought that. I would do that in a heartbeat. I like Deshaun Watson a lot. I don't think Houston should do that. They've got their franchise left tackle. They got the guy that's like Watson's good. He's a top 5 quarterback. Definitely top 10.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So if they get Sam Darnold, if they believe Sam Darnold, then they can get the number one wide receiver out of Alabama this year to replace D-Hop. So they'll have Sam Darnold and the new guy. Who's the left tackle?
I don't see it. I don't think they give up on. You don't give up on a top 10 quarterback when you just signed him this past offseason. Like I understand they had the issues with Bill O'Brien, and if Watson doesn't want to be there, if Watson's the one like kind of forcing his hand, then I guess I could see it. If I were Watson, I'd be trying to get to. Well, you would try to force your way to wherever you want. Does Watson want to come to New York? I don't think so. If I'm Watson, I'm forcing my way to Atlanta or Dallas. That would be a kick in the nuts for the Texans.
Yeah, but then you have to think about if Atlanta wants to move off Matt Ryan.
Well, that's just it. He's like 35 or 36, so it's gonna be close to time to moving off of him. Whether that's the this year or next year, I could see them pulling the trigger on a quarterback at some point. Like maybe they take a flyer on Sam Darnold for a second or a third round pick, or they bring in a Jameis Winston who now has knowledge of the Saints and the Bucks. I could see those sorts of situations.
I think Dak's biggest problem was his money. He always wanted big money, and he never proved in the postseason. So I think with his injury, he can't ask for that $40 million a year. So I think if Dallas wants to get rid of him, and we trade that pick to Dallas, well, we don't give up the second pick to Dallas. We give Sam and then a second round for Dak, basically.
Well, so that would mean they'd have to franchise Dak because Dak is going to be a free agent, and unless they franchise Dak, the Jets are going to be able to just sign him if they want to. I don't want to go that route. I think the rookie contract is just so valuable. I have a video that I'm kind of working on. I don't really know how to piece it together just yet, but it's basically looking at all the Super Bowl quarterbacks, winning team and losing team, since the rookie contracts became a thing back in 2010. So 2011 was the first Super Bowl we got with these quarterbacks on these deals. And I think 8 of the 18 quarterbacks were on rookie deals. And then
listen, Trevor Lawrence is my dude. I want Trevor Lawrence. This is like worst case scenario.
You're saying worst case scenario number 2.
Yeah, like this is theoretically for the number 2 because I've seen drafted going back a couple. I think we can go for a quarterback that's not happy in their situation and they're getting close to the end of the rookie contracts or whatever. And I think we can bring them in. You know what I mean? Especially if we get the number. Oh,
I see what you're saying. No, I see what you're saying. I see where you're getting at. For me, I'm not.
Trevor Lawrence is number 1.
I'm not touching Dak because of the injury, because of the contract. The rookie contract is just so valuable. So even if it's not Lawrence, I think you have to take a rookie quarterback. And I want to feel more comfortable with Fields. I know a lot of people are happy with Fields, so we'll see where that goes. Thank you so much for calling in. I have ejected you from the cockpit. Good stuff, brother. Thank you for the call.
Call from Noah.
Noah, what's good, brother? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm trying to hang in there. What's on your mind?
So I saw Sam's comments. I don't know if it was today or yesterday, but it seems like he really has confidence in staying a Jet, and I'm getting a little nervous that Douglas wants him around.
I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're probably saying the right things like, Sam, you're our quarterback, you're our quarterback, you're our quarterback. It's the same thing that they heard with Odell Beckham from the Giants. Like, oh, we're not trading Odell, we're not trading Odell, and then they trade Odell. We're not trading Jamal, we're not trading Jamal, we're not trading Jamal. Oh, we traded Jamal. Like, I think I saw the comments from Sam, and he wants to be a Jet for life. He says it's not in his hands, and like that, it kills me because Sam's a really, really good guy, and I hope he goes somewhere and just turns his whole career around. I hope he, can be good somewhere. I think with the Jets and where we're at right now, we don't have the infrastructure to be able to support Sam the way he needs to be supported. And the way we have to rework all his mechanics. I don't think it's a good idea for the Jets to stick with Sam. I'd be very, very upset if we, traded down and avoided Fields or Lawrence to keep Sam.
Yeah. Also, if I'm not mistaken, Gase was one of the main reasons that Douglas was brought in. So I have a feeling that Douglas may have a soft spot and wants to keep Gase around.
So I think you are right on that. It's definitely right. Gase was the one that picked picked Douglas because they worked together in Chicago back in, I think, 2015, if I'm not mistaken. So I could see Douglas having a soft spot there. The nice thing is the Jets head coach and GM both report to the owner. So with Woody Johnson coming back from the UK, I think what's going to happen is you may not see Gase fired the day after the season, but whenever Woody comes back, which is going to be during the playoffs, I think you'll see Gase get canned then, so that way Woody can take the blame for it, and then Douglas and Christopher could both be like, oh, hey, I didn't know, we didn't see this coming, like this is totally out of the blue. And then since there's teams going through the playoffs like Brian Daboll and the Bills, or like Bieniemy and the Chiefs, or insert whatever, Arthur Smith and the Titans, you're going to have to wait till their playoff run is done anyway. So I think it gives the Jets a little bit of flexibility in that way. I hope we just kind of find out that Gase is fired the day after the game. That would really be what I want to see more than anything else. But I could see a situation where they wait a little bit and fire him once Woody comes home.
Yeah. And do you think that Douglas is going to stay around if they finish with the bad record next year with Trevor?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's here at least another 2 years. I think they would can him once he's got 2 years left on his deal if things haven't progressed. But at that point, he's going to have 3 drafts under his belt, so you're going to have a pretty good idea. Okay, did he get the left tackle, Mekhi Becton? I think he did. Is Mims looking good? I think he is going to look good. You got a bunch of draft picks this year and next year, so you got to give him these 2 drafts. Those are the assets that he's been able to acquire through the Jamal Adams trade. Let him build his vision. It takes time to build a winner. So I would hope we give Douglas at least 2 more years, unless like the wheels come off. Like if Becton just regresses horribly, Mims can't catch a cold, and like every draft pick flops. Like I don't see any way that Douglas isn't here 2 more seasons beyond this year, at least.
Yeah, lastly, do you think that there's a chance if that Gase stays in the organization, even if he's not head coach?
Oh, man. I want to get his stink away from this team so badly. I don't want him. It wouldn't shock me if he stayed on as an advisor or something like. I just don't think you can. I don't think you can keep him on with the coach, not with the coaching staff, but with the other head coach there, because there's going to be a butting of heads. There's no way you can have the former head coach and a new head coach come in, because there's going to be a division in the locker room to some extent. I'm sure 95% of guys will probably go towards a new head coach, but there's going to be guys that do like Gase because he gave them a shot, or I don't know. I don't want to see Gase anywhere near here.
That's all.
All right, brother. Thank you so much for calling in.
All right, thank you.
Much appreciated. Guys, if you want to get your shot to win a hat, shirt, or mug, all you have to do is join the Flick Chat. It's located in the description down below. Just click on that. I'll pick one of you guys to get a hat, shirt, or mug at the end of the show. And then also, if you want to answer our question of the day, it is pinned in the comment section. Who should the Jets bring back of their free agents
Call
that they
from
have
Detonator
pending for
10.
this year?
To accept, press 1. To send a voice.
Detonator 10, what's up, brother? How you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
I'm trying to hang in there. 3 more games. I just got to get through 3 more games.
Oh my lord, I hear you on that one. This is it. This is the one. You know, like every single time I go to work, like mid-game, we always get blown out like really badly. So like during the Colts game, like Sam threw like 3 interceptions once I left. We had the lead, but then we lost. I'm pretty sure after that. So
well, I'm hoping
each time
you
I
keep
go to
going
work, we get pummeled.
I hope you keep going to work. That's what I need to have happen because I can't deal with it if we get the number 2 pick. I'm gonna lose my mind.
Yeah, it's whenever like the 4 o'clock games are. I'm in at work and then I just see, oh, we got destroyed, worse than usual.
Oh,
I mean, we'll still lose even if I'm watching and I'm not at work yet, but you know.
I enjoy the 4 o'clock games. Not so much from like when I was not doing the YouTube channel, but I like the 4 o'clock games because then I can watch all the 1 o'clock games and then watch the Jet game and then do my post game and do my video. Like when we have the 1 o'clock game, I'm only watching the Jet game for the most part, and then I do my post game while the 4 o'clock games are on, and then I'm editing while the 4 o'clock games are on. I just miss the whole day of football, and I wind up having to catch up a whole bunch. So I'm a big fan of the 4 o'clock game, at least for my.
Yeah, me too. When I don't have work.
So what's on your mind?
Yeah,
what are you kind of thinking of with what we've seen the last few days?
What we've seen the last few days, I mean, the team quit, right? I mean, the team quit. It's just flat out. I mean, thinking about like the only person I didn't get to watch the game, and once I saw we got blown out 4-3, I came home from work. I'm like, I'm not gonna go look at the highlights. I'm just gonna think about it. So I'm just like,
it's
I'm
barely
like,
a highlight reel.
The highlight was we scored the first 3 points and then gave up 40 unanswered after that, and then May had a nice interception, which I saw right. We had the lead before I went into work. Just letting you know right now. We had the lead
So
before I went into work.
You are the guy that is going to lead us to the promised land. You need to work. You got to tell your boss, hey, I can't go in at 4 o'clock. I got to go in at 1 o'clock for these last 2 games because that's what we're going to need.
Yeah, so
it.
just like I work in a restaurant, so I'm like always on my feet, and it's tiring. So doing that from 1 o'clock to 9 is not fun.
No, it's not fun. I used to work in restaurants for a while, and it's a brutal job. I mean, it's a lot of fun. You have fun with the people that are working, and you do pretty well on tips if you're a waiter or a bartender or something like that. But man, it's a lot of long hours. You're on your feet are sore. So I can sympathize for sure.
Yeah. So I'm just like, so can you tell me? So I only look for 3 people now. Usually, I look for how Becton does, how Quinnen does, and then how Mims does. That's usually the only people. May is kind of like, man, I don't know whether we're going to extend May because I'm not sure if you saw that one game where May tackled his own person to let the wide receiver go all the way for the end zone. Not sure if you watched that. I was like, he's pro tank. That's a pro tank right there.
That's a good man. That's a team player. I like it. We should re-sign this guy. I think.
So I mean.
So if I'm looking at the guys for Becton, he's playing pretty well. I think it was 2 games ago. Was the Raider game? I think it was the Raider game where he gave up a little bit of. I think he gave up like 4 pressures. It was like the most he's given up in this season. Mims we didn't get to see obviously because he was knocked out with the COVID protocol. He should be coming back for this upcoming week. And then Quinnen, I tried to watch a little bit, but with how like lopsided that game was, it's hard to really look at anyone in a positive light aside from like the catch from May. I guess running wise, they didn't have a crazy ton of yards. They had a good amount of yards, but not from just one guy. I don't know. It was a rough game all around for the Jets. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah. We do not look good at all, you know.
No.
Like it's like my one of my family members like, how can you have any elite talent like on a team where it's like 0-12 or 0-13? I'm like, well, listen here. You haven't met Mekhi Becton. That dude's a beast, and you haven't met Quinn Williams. that dude's also a beast. I think next year we can keep the same defensive line. I think we can do that next year.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I like Foley Fatukasi, John Franklin Myers,
JSM.
and oh, dude,
Quinnen.
and Quinnen. Those three are playing lights out. If you can bring in like 2 edge rushers, I would bring in a veteran and a younger guy with some upside, whether that's through the draft or free agency. I would try to add 2 pass rushers. You'll help out your cornerbacks. You still need to bring in a corner at least. But we're trending in the right direction, I think. And I think we have enough assets to really make this happen.
Cool. How much time do I have?
Thank you so much!
That's it! You're out of
You've
here!
been ejected from the cockpit. Oh, man. I wish I had like a little... I like the chicken flying across the screen. It'd be cool if I had like an ejector seat or something. I need like a button like boom! Be able to hit that.
Call from
Evan.
Evan, what's good, dude? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, Ryan. So I have a question about Trevor Lawrence, right? And I have kind of an unpopular take. So,
sure.
Does it concern anyone else besides me that Trevor Lawrence is winning so much? Because I know you have eyes, Ryan. You see how much the
Sure.
Jets suck. All right, it's no secret.
Is he going to break down because?
For me, a big thing is how somebody responds to adversity, right? How
Sure.
somebody picks himself up when they get down. He hasn't lost very much, and that concerns me. If he gets in the NFL and he gets on a 3-game losing streak, we could low-key like ruin him mentally. Like that scares me a little bit. So I want to know what you think about that.
Ooh, that's interesting. I hadn't really thought about that. I assume you're kind of thinking about the Jamal Adams thing and how he said he had depression and whatnot. So Jamal actually didn't really. I mean, he came from a winning organization in LSU, but they didn't win while he was there. So it's sort of a misconception there. But with Trevor, he's only lost 1 game. So how he responds to adversity, he lost on a national stage in a national title game, and he's coming back, and he hasn't lost a game since. So how he handles this playoffs, I think, is going to be interesting. I think there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on him. In terms of destroying him mentally, if we're going to destroy him mentally because we lose a lot of games, then he shouldn't be drafted anywhere because he's going to be taken with the number 1 overall pick. So whether it's us, the Jaguars, whatever team it is, they're not going to be good right away. Like you look at Herbert, they got 4 wins. Burrow, I think they got 2 wins plus the tie. So whatever team has that number 1 overall pick is going to be bad. And I think Trevor is a strong enough player to overcome the issues of the stress that comes with losing. I hadn't really considered the thought of breaking him, though. That's an interesting thought.
Yeah, man. I have another question, too. So, as you
sure.
know, the Jets probably are going to have the 33rd pick, right?
Yep.
The 5th-year option, I don't think it's available for second-round picks or for third-round picks. It's available for first-round picks. So, with that being said, I know you've talked about how you're not a fan of taking a running back in the first round because you think the 5th-year option is more valuable for a first-round pick at other premium positions. So, let's say a guy like a Patrick Jones, the edge rusher from Pittsburgh, is available, right? And he's starting to slip, and you think he's going to be there for the first pick in the second round. If you're the Jets, do you consider trading up just 1 spot? All you got to do is just trade up 1 spot to take him in the back end of the first round so you have that 5th-year option?
It depends what you're giving up because what that 5th-year option is probably worth at least I want to say a 3rd-round pick. Like I think there's going to be a team that wants to. I think so. I think that 5th-year option is so valuable. So why would there be any benefit? What's the benefit for a team to drop down that 1 spot? Like just to get hey, you're losing that 5th-year option. You're losing, 1 player worth of value. Unless they're trying to gain some more picks. Like maybe it's good. Maybe they get like a 4th-round pick, and then they're like, okay, now we have the top pick on day 2. We can take who we want, or we can trade out of that pick. Because trading out of the 33rd pick is a pretty valuable spot as well. Because everyone's got a full day to kind of reset and think about their draft boards.
Okay, I mean, I like that. I just think it's very interesting because, again, I do hear a lot of talk about this 5th-year option. And, the thought of trading up 1 spot may sound crazy to a lot of people, but that 1 year of getting that player on the cheap, let's say for maybe $5 million less than if he wasn't going to be on that 5th-year option, I mean, that's something that's small but pretty big to me. And my last question, man, I'm not sure how much time I have, is
you got a minute.
What? Yeah. Okay. I have plenty of time then. So my last question is: would you bring back Braxton Berrios next year? And maybe would you actually cut Jamison Crowder to save like $10 million in cap and start Braxton Berrios? And I also have to say that Jeff Smith is possibly the worst wide receiver I've ever seen at getting off of press coverage.
I'll say this. With Jamison Crowder, the Jets have so much money, and he's done after this season. I would not open up a hole on our roster. Hey, I know you're filling it with Berrios, but Crowder's tried and true right now. I like Berrios. I'm okay with re-signing Berrios. And then if you want to try him after Crowder, I'm okay pending what we see from him next year. But I think you keep Crowder. You don't try to lose any type of offensive weapons when you're bringing in Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields. That's sort of where I'm feeling on that. But thank you so much for calling in, brother. It means a lot.
All right, you're out of here.
You have been ejected from the cockpit. Guys, we have 20 more minutes. Make sure you vote on the poll question. We have over 80 people who have voted so far. And then join the Flick chat so that way you get a shot to win a hat, shirt, mug at the end of the show.
Call from
Elias.
Hey, what's good, brother? How you doing tonight?
Ryan, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm trying to hang in there. Just my Jets beat me down every week.
Every week, man. Only 3 more, though. Get that number one
thank
pick,
God.
baby. Let's do it.
Oh, fingers crossed. What's on your mind?
All right, so I'll talk a little bit about the game, but there's pretty much nothing to talk about. I don't know if it's just me. Other than that Marcus May play, I can't really point out a single thing that happened in that game. I was tuning out by the third quarter. It was rough. But I hope to never have to root for, a tank again, but hopefully, you get your quarterback. You don't really need to root for, a tank anymore. But, man, some of these Sam Darnold excuses, I like Darnold, but some of these excuses I'm hearing are just crazy. Like, Joe Flacco played the best quarterback game of the year, and Sam Darnold had, the same weapons as him, played like crap, like in the Miami game. He had the worst pass defense in the league, should have had like 3 interceptions. Just their DBs don't have like the worst hands you've ever seen. Like Jamal, man, if you want your $20 million, you gotta improve that.
Dude, he's got to catch that. That's what kills me. Is like Jamal wants a ton of money, and he's basically a glorified linebacker. Like
blitzer, yeah.
He's good. He's great at blitzing. He's probably the best.
The Courier Jets guys call them what do they call him? Like a motivational blitzer or something. Like he's a motivational speaker and a blitzer.
Yeah, I mean that's how I feel about him. I feel like his mouth and his hype is bigger than his actual play on the field. Like, I mean, he flies around.
Yeah,
he's
man.
got the sacks. He broke the record for sacks. Like, I can snub my nose at that however I want. He's still got 3 more games. Not to mention he missed 4 weeks of the season, so he's going to break that record again next year too. Like, the guy is good.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get sent.
I just don't think he's $20 million a year good.
Yeah, with the Jets last year, I've looked back at some of that stuff. A lot of it is just like he's schemed, like it's like just he's a free rusher.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of which I'm not trying to say he's a bad player. I don't really think he's the best safety in the league. I'd probably give that to Harrison Smith or Buda Baker, someone like that. But yeah, it was good to see him getting burned by Chris Herndon, who's one of the worst players in the league right now. So that was pretty sweet. But
we were 2 for 2 on passing towards Jamal yesterday. I want to say it was 2 for 2 for like 17 yards, so it wasn't a whole lot. But when you have 132 yards total, I guess that's a nice little percentage
pretty big sample
of
size.
that. I would say this: Jamal in his coverages this year has been pretty bad. I think he's like 82% completion percentage against him. So more times than not, you're looking pretty good, especially since he doesn't intercept the ball from like actual good quarterbacks. Maybe you should just be
he intercepts Derek Stidham and
Stidham and
Matt
Castle,
right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's been rough. I don't want to talk about Jamal though. I'm done with Jamal. The game's over.
Jamal, dark room depression and shit.
Oh, he's such a liar. I'm just ready for our future. I'm ready for. I don't even know what to think of this next game. I think the Jets are going to get whooped on Sunday. Just a all-around.
Oh, we were playing Cleveland or no? We're playing the Rams. Yeah.
We're playing the Rams. Yeah, it's 4:00 game.
Oh man, Aaron Donald is going to have a day.
Dude, he's going to feast. Sam's got to be like, please don't put me out there.
Our interior ain't good, yeah. At this point, I'd play Morgan, man. Like, you don't want Darnold's trade value going down any longer or any lower.
I don't think it could get any lower than it is right now. I think if it were me and we had, like, say Sam gets hurt next week because maybe his shoulder's not 100%, or they want to protect trade value, or, you know, their pass rush is just so filthy they just, you know, hit him too hard. I would put Morgan in. I do not trust Flacco with the tank. I am so worried.
Tank, yeah.
If there's a thought that Sam may not play the rest of the season, I would fire Gase, and I would force whoever is going to be the head coach to play Morgan.
Loggins or Bob Cooter, yeah, something like that. Like, at this point, like, there's no point in winning.
No,
like,
not at all. And I think everyone's got to be on the same page.
Agree with that.
I think so. Like, I think you would have to step in.
As much as the front office hates tanking, they're not going to hate it so much when, you know, draft day rolls around. I remember seeing when the Cardinals had the first pick, this video, Steve Keim, their GM, was like, hated having the first pick back in back in January. Love it right now.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. It sucks to, like, see this happen, but then it's also, I don't know. I want to see. I think it's going to be worth it. I really do. It's going to mean a lot. Thank you so much for calling, brother.
You're out of here!
Ejected from the cockpit. I have so many little windows up and everything. My lag is killing me. It's brutal on the little phone call. I'll hit the hang up button. Takes a few seconds.
Call from
Chris.
Hey, Chris, what's up, brother? How you doing tonight?
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm trying to hang in there. What's on your mind?
Yeah. All right. So my question was about the first 3 picks of the draft. So we're gonna have hopefully 1, and then second pick in the first round, 25 or 26, depending on where the Seahawks finish, right?
Sure.
And then second round, first pick. So one of my buddies is a big Jets guy too, and his point of view is that we take Lawrence 1, and then he wants either a tackle or a guard late in the first round.
Yep.
I disagree with that. I think Lawrence, we go first. I think you got to take a wide receiver with the second pick. I don't think Smith, Waddle, or Chase won't be there, but you got a guy like Terrence Marshall, Bateman could be up there. And then with the first pick of the third round, I think you got to take either ETN or Harris.
So that's interesting.
Against, yeah, what you think?
I like that thought process. I think your friend's not wrong. The issue I have with your friend's thought process is I would like the Jets to solve the guard position in free agency prior to the draft, so this isn't an issue. I'm okay with them taking a guard, but there's going to be, like, I think Wyatt Davis is the one everyone's talking about in terms of that mid-20s pick. And if he's not there and that's your answer at guard, then you're in a world of hurt. So you got to solve it prior to the draft. You don't want to go into the draft. The only player that you can guarantee you're getting is the player you're getting at number 1. But I agree. I would take Lawrence at 1. I would say I would fix the O-line as much as I can in free agency. I'm bringing back Fant, even if you don't like him. I know you could save a bunch of money, but I'm bringing him back. If you sign Thuney or Tooney, if you sign Sheriff, one of those guys to be your guard, then you have the opportunity to take a guard or a tackle that isn't necessarily forced into the starting lineup with that later first round pick. But I like the receiver route if someone falls. I would say this: if we solve receiver and guard in free agency, I'm going Trevor Lawrence. I'm going with a top cornerback that's falling in the first round, or edge rusher, wherever the value lies with those two positions. And then in the first pick of the second round, if Etienne's there, or Najee Harris, or Kenny Gainwell, any of those guys, I would be okay between there and the third round to take a running back. I'm on board with that. We need a starter for sure.
Yeah, my biggest argument with him definitely was it's really protecting Lawrence, I think, because I don't think Piron's going to be a long-time solution to the running back problem that we have right now, because Gore's kind of a fill-in, I would think, for this year.
Gore's gone after
think
this
you
season.
gotta-
P. Ryan's a third down back at best. I think Ty Johnson's our third running back. We don't have a starter right now. That's the issue, I think.
Yeah, and especially with developing guards, I mean, they definitely got to come into the league somehow. But especially protecting Lawrence as young as he is coming into the league, I think signing a veteran line would be big for him, and solving the skill positions, getting young guys in there that he can gain chemistry with over the years.
Yeah,
so I would
that's
definitely
you
go
got to have a
receiver,
young
running
core.
back.
You got to have a young core. That's huge, and I like guys that can stick together for a bunch of years. Like, I don't know if running back in the second round is what I love, but I think it's a
You don't get a lot of value out of them. I understand that.
because I think
I don't know
you could get a
who's going
really
into
good.
agency, but ETN and Harris are dogs.
Yeah, and you can get either one of them there, I think. ETN could go in the first round. Najee Harris might be end of the first round. And then Gainwell. I like Gainwell a lot. He might be a little too high at that point. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I like the running back. I like drafting a running back because I don't really want to pay a running back a ton of money. If they find someone that they like and it's not going to break the bank for them, I think Aaron Jones is a bell cow of a running back. And he's someone that, he's going to want a lot of money. So I don't think there's any way the Jets go after that after the Le'Veon Bell thing failed. I think we go the running back by committee more so than not.
Definitely. All right, well, I appreciate it. Thanks very much.
All right, brother. Thank you so much for calling in. I look forward to your call next time.
You're out of here!
From the cockpit. All right, guys. We got 9 more minutes left in the show, so make sure you join the Flick Chat. If you join the Flick Chat, you get your shot to win a hat, shirt, or mug from the store. I'll raffle that off at the end of the show. I'll also read you guys the statistics and the vote breakdown on our poll question of the day for today. That poll question: which free agent do you want returning for next year? Jordan Jenkins, Brian Poole, Rashad Perriman, Marcus May, Joe Flacco. Those are the 5 options we have listed right there. We have over 80 people who have voted in it. You get your shot to win an Amazon gift card potentially. Close to 100 people now. We're at 88. So let's see if we get a few more guys in there. It's linked in the description. It's linked in the pinned comment. It's also a pinned comment down below the video as well. So if you guys want to join that, get your voice heard. We'll have to do one of these things for the Pro Bowl. I'll have to list that. I don't know. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow or next week or something like that, so we can vote some of our Jets in as best we can. There's not a whole lot to choose from at this point. Noah, Jets fan. All right, so let's do this. I'm going to stop the phone calls, and I'm going to do some comment questions. Bam. So there's that. Pull the phone number off the screen. So Noah says, what's the most positive takeaway that you can find from the Jets season? It's that we have a left tackle in Mekhi Becton and that Mims looks legit. Like, those are the 2 big takeaways. Other than that, there's not a whole lot more. I mean, Quinnen coming into his own. Those would be the 3 things that I look at. The left tackle being solved seems like my favorite thing that has happened. You can be in your early 30s and still make a Pro Bowl caliber player. Who are you talking about? You talking about Tooney, or however you say that? Pats have a lot of cap space. I don't see Tooney leaving, honestly. I don't think he's leaving either. I think that's the issue. I think they're going to have to franchise tag him. Otherwise, the Jets are going to pay him the most amount of money. I don't think Bill will match what the Jets are going to offer. Unless Tooney decides, like, hey, I'm cool with staying in New England for less money, which is possible. So we'll see. We'll see how that how that happens. What else are you guys talking about in there? John P. Brian, you do a great job. John. Hi, dude. Thank you. KSE says, what if Kyle Pitts is there at Seattle's pick? I don't think he's going to make it that far. They're talking about him possibly going in the top 10. Like, that's how good of a season he's having. I don't see it happening. We'll see, though. We'll see. If he's there, you could talk me into it. I think the guy's legit. He's got like 8 touchdowns or something like that. He's got a ton of people. Not a ton of people. A ton of. He's had a good year. Put it that way. Him and Trask have had a good season. He's the tight end from Florida. What else are we talking about in here? Sorry, I'm just looking in the chat. See if we can find another good question. Sirhan, the man, says, that's one game I won't watch. 2020 Jets versus $70 with Spurrier. Ugh. Dude, is it the $76 or $72? I don't think it was the 70. Yeah, that would be a stinker of a game. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. What else we got going on in here? See if I have some good questions popping around. I don't know. Benjamin says, hey, Ryan, have you ever thought about doing more script-based content like Set the Edge or KTO? I have thought about it. I have another idea for a channel that I haven't decided if I want to launch or not. Or if I want to kind of mold this channel into something like that. I have thought about doing some type of scripted content. I think my voice isn't quite there. I'd almost have to like hire someone to read the script in a nice way. Like the voice for those guys are really nice. The visuals are solid. I'm curious to see how much ad revenue they actually make, because a big issue with YouTube is copyright infringement, and you could get in trouble. So when I have highlights in my YouTube videos, a lot of times those videos are not monetized, or they are monetized, but I don't get the revenue. It goes to like NFL YouTube channel, because I've used, whether it's their clips or whatever. So if he's using, because it's not footage that they've used. I like Set the Edge. I was watching one of their videos the other day. I think did they have an Adam Gase video? I think they had an Adam Gase video. I would like to. It would be cool. I think that's a fun way to do it, and those channels grow really fast. I would like to try and do something that isn't necessarily super Jets-centric. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love talking Jets, but I'm kind of pigeonholing myself in terms of the amount of growth I could actually see on this channel. So we'll see. I actually, when I started this channel, I didn't have any intention of it actually sort of taking off the way it did. I had a year into this venture. I started the channel in January of 2018, and I got to the December of 2018, and I thought there was a good shot I may not continue with the channel. I was like, you know what? It's kind of a lot of work. I'm not even at 1,000 subscribers yet. I was like, it takes me a long time to edit. I was like, you know what? Maybe it's just not for me. And actually, the person that got me to keep doing it was my fiance Becca, her cousin. Him and I did a New Year's resolution 2018 into 2019 and said, hey, we're going to make one video a month. Just do that. One video a month. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to push myself a little bit harder. I'm going to just say one video a week, because then that's, I have the channel. Let me try to do that. And that's when I started going on a roll again. And once I started doing that, then it was like, okay, you know what? This is fun. I'm having fun with it. And then I broke the 1,000 subscriber threshold, basically a year in. It might've been a week over a year. But yeah, I'm glad I stuck with it. I saw a lot of growth the last 2 off seasons. I'm hoping it kind of continues growing. I'd love to see this channel, by the time I go back to work in March, if I could be around 15,000 subscribers. That's kind of my, mental goal, if I can be. I'd love to be at 20. I don't think it's going to happen. Basically, it seems like each year I've kind of, I don't want to say doubled, but I went from, year 1, 1,000 subscribers. Then I think when I started my off season in January last year, I was right at 5,000, and I'm at 10,000 now. So it's growing, reasonably well. I have you guys to thank for that. Oh man, Okay, so we are at the end of our show. So let's talk a little bit about the poll question. So today's poll question is going to be running for another 5 days. So if you want to get an opportunity to win some Amazon gift cards, it's linked in the question, the pinned section, as well as the comment section down below. Which free agent do you want returning next year for the Jets? So Jordan Jenkins, Brian Poole, Brashad Perriman, Marcus May, or Joe Flacco. As it stands right now, we have 92 votes. 5.4% say Jordan Jenkins. 7.6% say Joe Flacco. 9.8% say Brian Poole. 13% say Brashad Perriman. And a whopping 64.1% chose Marcus May. So that is quite the lopsided vote right there. And it's kind of, it's obviously what I expected. I didn't think that was going to go any other way than how it did. All right, so I'm going to pick a winner of the day for my t-shirt giveaway for tonight. And it's going to be someone from the Flick chat. So if you have joined Flick, it's down in my description down below. It gets you the opportunity to win a hat, shirt, or mug from the store each week. And this week, the winner is going to be... Give me a number 1 through 5. Someone throw up a number 1 through 5, and then I'm going to multiply it by some random number in my head. And then I'm gonna pick someone from the Flick chat. Let's see what we got. All right, come on. Oh, there's a 40-second lag. That's what it is. You guys are experiencing that. All right, we got 2. Lame Cactus. Eli saying 2. All right, so I'm going to say 2 times 10 equals 20. Let's go through this. All right, LFGM, you're going to be our winner of this week's hat, shirt, or mug giveaway. So hit me up in the Flick chat, and I will get your information, and I will send you out a shirt. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for another week of the Monday Call-In Show. I very much have fun with this. I will be back tomorrow with Green Bean, O'Leary, and Richie from Jets Media. We're going to have the same poll question of the day, so we're going to see where that kind of ranks as of tomorrow. Guys, it has been a lot of fun. I really enjoy hanging out with you on a week-in, week-out basis. So that's it for our show tonight. My name's Ryan. I've been your pilot. I will see you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock for Talking Jets. Let's go. 3 more games, baby. Trevor Lawrence. Jets.